So we are ready, right?
Yep.
Okay. Whew. Okay. So, Southern Perspective, episode 14. Okay, so welcome to Southern Perspective, episode 14. So this is a debrief with context of South Glengarry's June 8th and 22nd, June 8th and 22nd, 2026 council meetings.
Yes.
So today on Southern Perspective, we sit down with Mayor Lair. Sorry, I just had the other mayor on earlier on today, but we sit down with South Glengarry's Mayor Lachlan McDonald to unpack the June 8th and June 22nd South Glengarry council meeting. So this included council's recommendation to refuse a proposed transportation depot on prime agricultural land. Okay, discussing is around municipal accountability and public facing harassment policies, heritage preservation in South Lancasters and firefighters certification, etc., etc. We'll get into it. Welcome, Lachlan.
Well, thank you for having me.
We are 14 in, 14 deep, and the 6th this year, so that's really kind of cool. So, transportation depot proposal. So there was a recommendation for refusal. So council recommended refusing the official plan, or what was put forth, amendment number 29 for proposed transportation depot repair garage on prime agricultural land along County Road 34, sorry. So this is concluding that the application did not satisfy provincial planning statement required for non-agricultural development. So where was this depot on County Road 34, and what were the key planning principles that led to the refusal?
Okay, so the depot was about 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers north of Lancaster Village on the east side.
Okay.
It's about a 14-acre lot, and the planning rationale was it's not the fit for that area, right? You have to step over some hurdles before you turn ag land into. Basically, it would be a parking lot with a repair shop on it, and they had suggested putting agricultural repair there, but the amount of trucks also going through the Lancaster corridor already is high, so it would have added to that. So we were reluctant for those reasons. One, it wasn't the right spot, and two, it wasn't the right spot for those two reasons, I should say. Okay. So yeah.
Okay. So so was this the same thing that the public sort of expressed opposition to, or?
Yes, I think
there was a delegation for about.
Yes, there was a delegation a month or two ago, and it was one of the two, and this was the one that even the planning staff from the counties kind of said, if you're looking for this spot, put it over here. And somebody chuckled in the crowd because over there was where there was two spots that were being pushed back against. But the one spot was a good spot. The other one wasn't so much under planning rationale.
So the like I know that you said that they didn't satisfy the provincial standards and also council, but did the delegation sort of have a little bit of weight in what was going to happen?
Yeah,
or the decision per se, or
particularly the worry of trucks going through Lancaster, because they're already going through, and they're in a hurry sometimes going through the village.
Okay, so the Municipal Accountability Act. So this is Bill 9. So you chose to defer revisions to its code of conduct until the province releases the final regulations under Bill 9. So what prompted the first of all, the code of conduct revisions, and why is council refuse or sort of think it's better to wait than to sort of deal with this now? I mean, it could be a while to.
No, this is all right. So one, I had asked one of my members of council to move it, just to have the conversation. So the reason was our policy is more restrictive than the provincial policy, so we were going to move it to match. But as the province is changing things, and I think that's more for council accountability is a big thing right now. There are some municipalities where there's infighting, and it's very hard to remove a sitting member of council. And the province is working on ways how to make that more for the extreme cases, because you don't want just councillors kicking out councillors. So, but they're making it easier or more simple to have those conversations. So we want to match them. We're going to match them anyway, so we'll just wait until they change their policy so we can match.
Is this something that's coming up soon, or are they?
Their intention was hopefully before the election.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
So municipal election, not provincial. Yeah. So, but it's been kind of on the fire for 2 years now. It's been big pushback.
Do you think it's going to be out before the municipal election, or it's going to come after?
Oh, well, it'd be nice to see it before, just because I've been angling for it for a while. But I'd say
everybody has a summer break, right?
They've been on a good target. Like, they've been pushing it for the last 2 years, and there has been incremental movement. So, fingers crossed. I think they'll get this one.
Okay. So if not, then that'll probably come back up on the agenda to sort of see when.
Exactly. Yeah, it will come. Well, whenever the province makes theirs, ours will come back to match it.
Okay. Yeah. So temporary tent permit review. So council directed staff to review the township's temporary tent permit process itself to simplify approval while maintaining public safety. We all know that to put up these tents, a lot of times you need to jump through a lot of hoops, for different events and for whatever reason. So what concerns have residents or organizers raised about the particular process, and where do you think that sort of simplifying the red tape can help, without compromising safety?
Yeah. So this one, I asked Deputy Mayor Lang if he wanted to move it, because I'm trying to change a few things in the last few months that I do have. So I don't move motions. So he kindly said he would. So we talked about it, and the reason we wanted to review it is, one, I'd say the community thinks it's kind of silly, because you have a 20 by 20 tent for a 3-day event. It goes up on Friday. They pay $150 for the tent permit. They're supposed to have the R value of things. I believe the tent companies know those things. Many times it's up and down before the township can see it. So there's a whole process that may not have to exist. We understand there's municipalities in southwestern Ontario that may have just said, we'll accept the liability of allowing them. And we want to look into that. I imagine staff will come back saying, building code this and this, but I think council's giving a hearty look at it and saying, for the Highland Games, that tent certainly has to be engineered. But for your backyard, family reunion.
So what's the process now? What is the process that folks have to go through?
You go in, you pay $150. You have 4 pages of writing. Most of it's prescribed by the building code, so we're following the provincial rule. And then our inspector would go out and inspect, make sure it's tethered to the ground. When you see sidewalls on those tents, oftentimes that's actually not allowed, because it has an opportunity to lift. Yeah. And then you need, those ones, you're supposed to get engineering and everything. It just seems nobody does, but it just seems too much for something that, put good stakes in the ground, have it. If a tornado comes, don't stay outside. Big winds come, know that a tent can lift. And we're just trying to, common sense says you should just be able to put one up and trust the companies to do it, and then maybe take 4 hours of the company time to say these are the rules once a year, instead of having to have this big process. So we're looking to simplify or remove it. Something like.
But is this something also that the provincial government sort of dictates in some sense, or to you guys too?
Oh yes, yeah. This would be, if we chose to not do it, it would kind of be in contravention to the Building Code Act, which is a provincial thing. But
you would be able to amend your bylaws to do that, right? In some sense, if need be.
Well, if council votes for it, we're going to try our best to do it. And I think there's some interest on council to not have to do tent permitting, just let it happen. Which would make it simple. No red tape, no nothing. Just trust the companies. And educate them.
And common sense.
Yeah. Well, make it simple, because I think of the Glen Nevis Social. They put it up Friday after. There's no township review, probably, because there's nobody working, and it's down before they can come back. So this whole process is there for little value, because it's done right.
Yeah. Okay. So the public harassment and human rights policy. So council heard a delegation requesting dedicated public-facing human rights anti-harassment policy.
Yes.
For residents interacting with municipal services. So, can you say a little bit more about this and what stood out during this delegation presentation?
Yeah. So, we haven't had the staff report come back from. Obviously, that was the last meeting. A staff report probably would come back saying with more information if council wishes to do it. I believe myself as one member of council that the province kind of has human rights, so we don't necessarily need it. There's an ombudsman that we can go to if somebody's unhappy with how they've been received at the administration level, and oftentimes they'll go administrative, political, and then ombudsman.
But that's also a two-way street. Folks also have to come in and respect the folks who are at the administration who's
oh yes, we have those
too.
signs saying if you treat poorly, we will ask you to leave. But I think this gentleman, he feels that he has been treated poorly over a duration of time.
Okay.
And we'll see what comes of it. At present, there was no interest, or I shouldn't say no interest, but at council there was no direction. We don't naturally provide direction typically at delegations, so we're on kind of like a holding pattern with that. We've received it, and we'll see where it goes. But my personal opinion is there is a mechanism there that can be used, and this individual, I would encourage him to use it if he feels hard done by through the township process.
Okay, all right. So the Char-Lan Recreation Centre project. So during, of course, the construction, where you folks are under renovation, an engineer discovered that there's significant corrosion in the roof support. And this requires approximately $260,000 additional dollars in work. Yes. So how unexpected was his discovery, and where are the funds going to be found to sort of address this issue?
Yes. So I'll answer this hopefully in three ways fairly quickly. Is one, it was the purlins, which are you have the main supports going this way, and they're the ones kind of riding that way. 40% of them were determined approximately to be of worry for structural failure if we kept them. They're only 3 millimeters thick of steel, which I thought was interesting. It was under the roof, which was an odd spot to have leaking, so that means we had condensation or leakage through our roof, which is unfortunate. So that's kind of the situation. The cost, as you said, $260,000. We were well under budget, so this falls within what we budgeted during budget time, but it stretches that to the max, I'd say, and we're at risk of steel tariffs. So those are the concerns really. Is the tariffs will put us over. Where will the funds come from? Again, we had enough saved to do this. The tariffs would be the thing that go over. We'd take them from our reserves. We've had 2 years of $800,000 plus of reserves, so we can probably draw from them. So we're financially sustainable. I guess that's something I'm proud of for South Glengarry. We have been, and we've been fiscally responsible over the last 4 years, so it allows us to absorb these types of shocks. So that's where the money would come from.
Is there any tariff relief from the government for some of those projects that's sort of happening or on the horizon, or have you heard of? Or?
Not that I'm aware of. It would be wonderful if it was, though, because if we buy all that steel, it's Butler Building, so it's an American company, and it's kind of prefab in a way that everything clicks together. We'll see.
It's ironic that it's an American company too, right?
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you also have so you had some recreation investments that and you awarded a new canteen services for an improved construction of an accessible playground at is it Summerstown Estates Park? Or?
Yes, it is.
So what's the cost of this project, and how do canteen agreements work? Or
okay, so those are the canteens at the arena.
Oh, that's the arena. Okay.
Yeah, so that's they pay us a certain amount per month, and they tell us the hours. We had only one bidder, so I believe it was $250. They'll pay us for the right to rent it.
Okay.
And then they get all the profits.
Okay.
Same company as last time. Very happy with them.
Okay.
The Summerstown Estates Park, it's something the community had asked for early in the term. We had a lot. We've actually separated that lot. We're hopeful to sell the lot adjacent to it and use the money there to fund the park.
Okay.
And that the play structure that we will be putting in, and it's a new one, is $60,000, and the community will fundraise for additional things as they wish. And it'll just become a new park in our recreation portfolio, I'd say. So they'll have a nice little park there. It's in Summerstown Estates.
Oh, those are cool. And heritage. So you had some consultation.
Yes.
Public consultation that council supported a voluntary approach to heritage designation in South Lancaster rather than mandatory designation.
Yeah.
So why did council feel that a voluntary approach was the best path to this? Because sometimes we've seen that sometimes heritage, we understand that there's perhaps costs or whatever involved in keeping a building in a certain level. But why did council feel that this was voluntary, especially for some? We understand it is a residential, but what was the decision?
Yeah, I suppose if our council as a whole was not for government imposition, or so we didn't want to impose on all owners, but we're very open to having individual owners come and go through the process. The township pays for the designation, and I think it. Yeah.
Do folks come up and sort of, or does council go out and sort of say maybe your house is of significant heritage value, maybe you should consider designation, or do owners sort of come in and say, I think that how does what's the process?
For us, it has been owners. So there is one owner in South Lancaster who designated their house some time ago. There's probably the group wanted, in fairness to them, overwhelmingly for the district. That district, just to do the study for it, would be $50,000 to $80,000 likely.
Okay.
And then that doesn't count the work after that. That'd just be to see how it can be done. So there was, but that cost. I mean, it was thought of, but it was more really just forcing somebody to be part of something that they may not want or might not be able to afford. So we'll allow them to come to us. We will mail it. There's a mail out that will go to all the residents saying, hey, this is where council has gone. Would you like to proceed? Please come to us if you want. I imagine there are 8 or 12 properties there that community would want to keep under Heritage Watch, because I mean they're just part of old South Lancaster. But it will be interesting to see which ones the owners want to, right? So that's the thing. Like, how can, and council takes that opinion sometimes. Is like, how can I tell you what to do?
Yeah.
But I think it was like.
So I guess sort of the heritage group they're the ones who are going to have to lobby to some of these owners to say, would you consider?
Yeah, some of the owners will jump at it right away too.
Yeah.
So there's I think 2 to 4 of the houses are people who have approached members of council, not just me, and the others have thought about it. So I don't have great information, but it would be the individual owners that approach a township, and we will send that mail out so that everybody knows where we
And
went.
how many houses did you say there was, ballpark or two on?
Well, 8 to 12 of them that were highlighted that were of like key, because it's like just like little lodges and like little of the history of you take Montreal that way, go to Montreal that way. So. And the waterfront. So anyway, there's. I wish I should have brought the map. I'd be like right here and point to it. But there's a wonderful map that they provided with us. It's in the South Lancaster walking tour.
Okay.
Marilyn LeBrun sometimes does that, our former clerk. So if anybody's interested, we have a wonderful walking tour by the wharf and around that area. Or you can always just go to Dairy Queen, get a Blizzard or McFlurry if you're a McDonald's person, and take a walk down there. And there's a nice little tour. And there's a booklet available to do it.
So there's a self-walking tour as well too?
South Lancaster walking tour, yeah. Williamstown has a historic / ghost walk. So I mean, there's all sorts. I mean, all the history we have. Most of our villages have somebody in there that is willing to take you on a tour.
Yeah, and then with passion for history and heritage.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. So, firefighter certification. So council confirmed that all South Glengarry firefighters are on track to meet Ontario's new mandatory certification requirements before the provincial deadline. So when's the deadline, and does the province subsidize sort of the training requirements, or how does that work?
I believe the deadline's this Canada Day, so July 1st.
Oh, that's very close.
And we were early on it, though. We started it about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
In earnest. Some of the other municipalities were kind of pushing it a little later and rushing. So we were fortunate. Also, previous council put as deputy fire chief / training officer, so that we were prepared for this. Mm-hmm. Does the province give us any money? I kind of feel like we mostly absorb this, if I'm being quite honest.
Yeah.
As we do, but we have 86 firefighters, I think it was, that will be completely done, and that's nice to have. And then on to the next round if they have to increase the standard. But we're there right now, and I believe in the report it said we've probably through attrition lost 10 firefighters, to those who kind of were legacy people who had served 25, 30 years, and they didn't. Some of them did not want to go through the training process. Okay. So that's unfortunate because there's a lot of knowledge lost, but we have 86 trained and ready to go.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's recreation infrastructure and long-term planning. So you had several agenda items focused on improving recreation facilities while planning for community future community growth. So can you say more about what plans are for improvement for some of the different recreational facilities? I mean, we know that the Char-Lan Centre is undergoing its big facade renewal. That's the one thing. But what about some of the improvements to the other recreation facilities?
Yeah, ongoing. I think that was mostly from conversation. That particular part of that question. So just making sure that our we're investing in our buildings. You hear me say roads, bridges, and buildings. So it was just a reminder.
That's
of that.
your mantra, right?
Yeah, roads, buildings, and roads, bridges, and buildings. It's simple.
There should be a speech bubble, on
This
top of your head.
Stand for, So that wasn't like an exciting conversation. It was just a reminder that while we're going through this, because for 4 to 8 weeks, our rec facility will be down. So a lot of that conversation was more about like how can we house the organizations, like how can we get the skating club, the brigade, and minor hockey to have ice time in all the places. And now they're late in trying to find it. So the skating club uses 10 hours. Can they find 10 hours in Alexandria, Maxwell, Finch, Cornwall, and maybe I don't know the Quebec side as well if they have arenas close, but they're displaced for the first start of their season.
And is sort of the South Glengarry personnel sort of helping them in sort of finding some of these things, or is that?
I think they shared the contacts for the other areas, but ultimately it will be on the association to find it or not. And that's like I kind of think they're kind of worried that it is late in the season to be ordering ice for the next year. Especially when you have those communities have already ordered their ice and they're already set up. So what ice times are available and might not suit for the needs. Right? I think minor hockey uses upwards of 30 hours a week. So you're not probably going to find that in other barns. So
no, that would be a little on the difficult side.
And that's all because of the purlins that were found to be in disrepair.
So For this, what's the timeline? How
pushed it back 4 to 8 weeks. So
so it's not too bad. It's
instead of early September, we'll be starting later, mid-October. Hopefully, I mean, things can change.
So you're probably looking at late October, sort of starting looking at getting the ice into the Char-Lan Centre.
Yes, and it's unfortunate too. Because they often say
you had all the planning, everything was all done, everything was planned, but now there's sort of a little bit of a hiccup that you need to address, which is understandable. But
if you're going to spend that kind of money, you make sure it's right.
Yeah, make sure it's good. Yeah. Okay, so just one more thing to touch on. There's you received some updates on sort of county infrastructure, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, environmental initiatives and so forth. Like a lot of committees, of course, going on. Yeah. And one question, and you see this a lot in the, in the news and for whatever reason. So cybersecurity and artificial intelligence are becoming more increasing topics for municipalities, especially South Glengarry?
Yes, it's South Glengarry and beyond. I think if I can sum it up in 2 things, we had a municipal summit where you have different municipalities locally talk, and 2.5 of those presentations were to do with AI. And then we had our keynote speaker was just about AI. It was an interesting conversation that he said that don't delegate to AI, ask it questions. I have a business, I'm thinking this. Can you think of anything I'm missing? So you use it as a sounding board, as opposed to being I'm trying to start a business and letting it do it because so that was fun. And
but is this inside sort of inside the township itself? Like for example, the township using specific AI providers to sort of to do some questionings or whatnot, as opposed to sort of developing its own in-house AI. There's also
I don't think we have the capacity to develop in-house AI right now. I think this particular question comes from. So we have now a new policy. It's based on Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus. Yeah. They get together and make it, and the concern for liability or cyber attacks, as you were saying, is that basically they have the criminals are using AI to attack us.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have AI to defend it. I kind of find, like who has the most server farms. And
Yeah.
I made the joke, I think, at our council that it's kind of like an auto reply. I send you and you auto reply me. I auto reply you. Yeah, like it's that, but malicious.
Yeah.
So we do have, like, that's always a concern. So, but you've seen an increase in cyber insurance, certainly to account for that. And yeah, we're doing our best, but that world changes so fast, especially with AI finding the ability to run different codes.
And even compliance changes so fast too. To be compliant with the new for example, the new email compliances and new domain compliances, all these things.
Yes.
And it affects insurance as well too for everybody and townships included.
Yes.
For cybersecurity. So I'm pretty sure that just the fact that you have to continuously be compliant in all of your defenses.
Yes.
Is quite a few, and a lot of times it's not talked a lot that much, but it is quite important for municipalities to consider to do that, because the hackers are not going to ask permission.
No, they're certainly not.
They won't.
No.
So the big picture reflection. So looking back at your June meetings, okay, there seems to be a common theme of protecting South Glengarry's long-term interests, and whether it's agricultural land or public infrastructure or public trust as well.
Yep.
So as you move, so right now we're going in, it's going to be July 1st in a few days, okay, and as we move into the second half of 2026, what do you see as a township's biggest opportunities or biggest challenges? Because we are moving into into election time, and would council become a lame duck council to be able to take decisions or not make decisions? Or
well, so far we have Deputy Mayor Lang will be running for mayor, Councillor Jaworski will be running for deputy, and then Lyle Warden's running for council. So if that persists, we would be lame duck. I could see at least 2 of the 3 returning, so I don't think we'll be in a lame duck situation. And then our focus, I think, would be on, if you look at our strategic plan, one thing is the airport, another thing is water and wastewater to Glen Walter. Mm-hmm. So I'd say over the next months, trying to refine those. There's been conversations going on for the better part of 2-3 years, if not 10-15 years. But I can see there's starting to be some pen on paper that's making me excited. So finishing that part of our strategic plan would be nice, or having it so that there's an agreement for the next council to think over and say, is this good for you? So those what we'll focus on. Otherwise, just keep good governance and that's simple things, but keep it transparent, keep it clean. Roads, bridges, and buildings.
Roads, bridges, and buildings.
Knees and toes.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Good. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully, we're going to see each other next month. I think you do have a couple. Do you have 1 or 2 meetings?
2 in July, 1 in August, 2 in September, and then 1 in October. I think we have 6 more council meetings. So that's
6 more council meetings. Okay.
And then election time.
Yeah, and still a few little things on the agenda. So I mean, the township doesn't shut down, obviously.
No. I could see us slowing down a bit though, because you don't want to burden the next council. But if business needs to be done or it needs to be followed through, you have my assurance. We'll continue.
Arenas need to open.
Arenas need to open. Yeah, that would be nice to have done before the election. But I mean, that's on the schedule.
Yeah. Well, it'll probably be very close to at the same time. So it'll be a nice launch for the new council when it comes in.
And we normally have our election results there too. So otherwise we'd have to move facilities. So it'd be great to have it right opened up for that, so people can look out. Is the facility totally closed for that time, or how? The upstairs is on and off because of the paints can cause some pretty decent fumes.
Okay.
But we've continued to have our council meetings there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Not too dizzy from your fumes to make decisions, or you're all good.
Yeah,
right?
Or maybe we're making better decisions.
There you go. Paint fumes for decisions. That's all good. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in. We
thank
really
you.
appreciate all your time and all the time to come in. So we all want to thank our viewers that do tune in. You know, we have more and more and more every time. That's really great. We also want to thank Glengarry Clothing Company that actually sort of sponsors this event or is a patron of this event. So if you do see them online, GlengarryClothingCo.com. Go and check out. They have some really cool design. You know, they try to capture the essence of Glengarry. You know, in some of their designs. You know. And no, their designs are not AI. I've been told that. So people have been asking me, are the designs AI? I say, well, no, they're illustrated generated. I said, oh, okay, well, that's all good.
Yeah.
So and we want to remind folks that it does take some time and some energy to actually put this together. So if you want to come out and volunteer, that would be really great. I mean, there's some things you can do, some switching, and even if you have some ideas for some segments. I keep saying it. Glengarry is a great place to live. Sometimes we're even blinded by the fact that it is a great place to live.
Yeah.
We don't realize the community that we have, the tranquility and the wonderful piece of the world that we sort of are lucky to live in. So if you have things that you want to highlight and put out there, you know, in a segment, a podcast, or even you want to come and help with some work here, volunteer work at Glengarry TV, please do. Okay, and again, if you feel that you want to be a sponsor, that yes, we will. You know, if you want to sponsor a segment or want to be a patron, please do come and see us. You know, we will definitely make sure that people recognize that you are helping the local culture and the local TV. So, thank you. Mayor
Thank you for having me again.
You know, hopefully we will we'll see each other in a month after your next few meetings for July. Thanks for watching. Spread the word, and as we say, smash the button, right? Smash the like button. You know, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will see you in a month.
See you then.
Thank you. Bye bye.